All right, Sky Squad, we are back in the building, baby, and we got to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac last night. We're talking about season 7. We're talking episode, what is this, 5 that we're at right now? It's called The Burn Session. And oh, baby, did some people burn last night. Now, if you are in the chatterization, thank you so much for being here. We got a lot to cover, so I want to dive straight in today, okay? Straight in. So the first thing that we're going to do, okay, is rate the episode on a scale of 1 to 10. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to tell y'all that I give this episode a 10. I want to know what y'all give it. Now, this episode kind of had, no pun intended, a slow burn. Okay, when we first started, it seemed like we just kind of it started off very interesting. And then we kind of got some solo scenes, and then I felt like the tempo started to increase, and we started to get some interesting dynamics. And then we finally get to this burn session, baby, and it did not disappoint. Okay, it did not disappoint at all. Okay, at all. So we got to talk about it in this episode. Not only that, but of course, the producers, baby, the producers were working overtime. Okay, and I appreciate the overtime production. I do, because the trailer gave us one thing for the season, but each episode is like a little mini adventure. And I feel like we just never know what we're going to get each episode. So this was epic. All right. So let's go ahead and stage dive into it. Welcome. If this is your first time catching a live, we got to get into it. All right. So listen. Last week, we saw Ashley driving round and round and round and round and round the neighborhood, but we didn't know where she was going. I thought she was looking for a house, and indeed she was. She was looking for Candiace's house. She was on her way to film with Candiace, which I thought was genius. It was genius for her and the producers to even connect these two episodes in such a way that there's Ashley last episode having a conversation in the car talking about the news leaking with Michael. That is happening on the way to Candiace's house, which Candiace, of all people, it was so wild to me because, Candiace and Ashley have not had the best of relationships. Especially it's wild considering that this is again good production. Candiace and Ashley start the episode here, but they end down here. Okay. And so I just thought that this was wow. Right. The continuity was chef's kiss of it all. So like it's those little things in production that I feel like they just get it. They think about this. All right. So anyway, she's driving in circles on her way to Candiace's house. The house is beautiful. Okay. They're having cheese, wine, crackers, sushi, fruit. And, Candiace does ask about the leak about her and Michael's, impending separation / divorce / live together / buy a house together, whatever you want to call it. So Ashley's like, yeah, he got a vasectomy on Friday, headed out to Vegas the next day. Now the news is leaked. Girl, who leaked the news? Okay. Apparently he has not been answering the telephone for the past 24 hours before they talk. And did y'all notice that there was absolutely no music in this scene? They did what we call a cold open. They didn't even give us the title cards or anything. They went right into it. There was no sound effects. There was no music. The producers really wanted us to pay attention to the words that they were saying. These are those little nuggets that I be trying to tell y'all about. Like when you watch the episode, pay attention to the story that the producers are also trying to tell us. And the producers can help produce a story by adding music and sound effects and taking them away. And just a good reference for this, you will notice that in some Quentin Tarantino movies, he takes the sound out of a fight scene. Taking the sound out of a fight scene only allows you to hear the grunts, the hits, this, the that, and it just makes it more visceral. That's what they did here, and I thought it was genius. Oh my God, it was genius. Anyway, so Candiace reveals that she has had IVF, and she has to cancel her IVF because of the stress of the group. We learned that Chris doesn't want to be around the group anymore, and Candiace says that she knows Giselle in this instance. She has listened to Giselle plot and scheme and plan around other people in this group. She says, you know her too, Ashley. You're closer to her. Ashley agrees and says, yeah, Giselle also has some of her secrets in the vault. This is what I think is interesting. My only issue with Candiace in this is that Candiace says that she knows that Giselle plots and schemes. She's been around it. So if you know that, why did you ever not safeguard yourself against it? Did you think that she would never do it to you? That is my question, okay? Because ultimately, you have to watch how people move, especially people in your social circle. You have to watch how they move, because if they could do it to them, they can most definitely do it to you. So you have to safeguard what's precious to you. And in this situation, Candiace, that would be Chris. Period. All right. So, they end up talking about, Ashley's secrets in the vault, and Candiace reveals that, girl, I know you was out to dinner with a hockey player. Okay. Ashley does reveal that it was some casual sit down ponderosa with her and a hockey player, but it was nothing serious. And then they say, yeah, we hear about people all the time in this group. And so at that point in time, they talk about how people used to talk about Karen and Ray. And so Candiace then says that Karen used to be sneaking out of town to dinner with someone who wasn't Ray. And then she says, we see you. So my thing is, it's wild to me that in one sentence, we're talking about how Chris feels uncomfortable coming around the group because of what Giselle is saying about him. But in the next breath, we're also talking about Karen allegedly sneaking and creeping out of town. The irony of this is wild to me, okay? It's wild to me, all right? But nevertheless, I am just here to follow the breadcrumbs and the yellow brick road to see where this whole thing is leading us, okay? All right, so we also get a flashback of CHARISSE confronting Karen at one of the reunions. I believe it was the season 3 or season 2 or season 3? I think it was season 2 reunion with CHARISSE confronting Karen about someone named Blue Eyes, okay? Now, this has been talked about in earlier seasons, and if you are not familiar with Potomac, I implore you to go back and watch, all right? So anyway, Candiace is ultimately excited for Ashley's new chapter. Mia and G are having a meal outside on the deck. She does talk about the soft opening of one of her the joint offices. And I just find every time I see one of these scenes, it just makes me cringe because of what she let us know on social media about the company now allegedly being in the hands of her brother-in-law or something like that. So I'm just like, I mean, as she's saying, she don't want to open another office. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if it's going to look like you can open another office based on what you said online. Hopefully y'all done got that situation all sorted out, okay? Because otherwise, it's going to be cringy every time it comes up in the show, okay? So then G asked about the mystery surrounding her health, which I thought was an odd thing to say. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, apparently they have ruled out cancer. She has to get her lymph. She says in the show, I wrote this down verbatim. She has to have her lymph nodes removed and her lumps removed. And hopefully it's just a fluke. I don't know much about like lymph nodes. Can you remove those? Is that what you would do? Or do you remove the lump on the lymph node? Somebody let me know, because I just don't know. I don't know how that works. I told you that I had an experience with a family member having cancer, and it was breast cancer. So I don't know about the lymph nodes specifically. Okay. Mia then says that she's ready for the girls to go away on a girls trip to Miami. And I'm like, oh, she's going to be hosting the cast trip. But she also wants to talk about what may be off limits. Apparently, we're getting another Jacqueline nugget right here. She says 14 years ago, she went down to Miami with Jacqueline, who knows all of her secrets. And she says G crashed the girls' trip. But I could have swore in this. Y'all, tell me if I am wrong. Okay. They can be removed. All right, cool. I didn't know that. Constance says it's to keep the cancers from spreading. Okay. Thank you guys for clearing that up. Thank you to all of you. This is why we have these conversations live. Because I mean, I'll be having questions too. Did she say that G was happily married to his ex-wife, but they had relations on the beach and they knew the people were watching? Is that what she said? Or am I hearing things? Okay. Somebody let me know, because that's what I wrote down, but I'm trying to determine if that's what I heard. So he was a whole married man, and I did not know that. Okay. So was he married when you initially met him at the steak club? I need to get a timeline for that, because that's what I am foggy on the timeline. Okay. Y'all saying yes, sir. That's what she said. Okay, that's what she said. He was married. Okay, and was okay. She did. Okay. Okay. I see. I was not incorrect. Okay. I was like, wow. Okay. I did not know that. And we're off. All right. So anyway, Giselle takes her girls to somebody said I'm foggy too. Giselle takes her daughters to the nail bar for manis and petties. Giselle with her daughters is probably Giselle in her best element. These scenes always feel natural to me because of the girls' reactions to their mom, which I just think is just relatable to people in general. Basically, Giselle is planning their Sweet 16, and she hopes that Michael and Ashley can co-parent like she and Jamal. Okay. Anyway, Robyn is visiting Marla, the attorney, to talk about the prenup. She goes through the whole marriage, how they needed to get the original prenup because of but the original prenup, it didn't matter because they ended the marriage with no money, according to her. All right. Did she lose the money, or did he lose the money? I think it was it her that lost the money, allegedly, apparently. Did she say that? I thought she said it. Anyway, now, Marla's like, well, girl, does he know you even here? And so Robyn says, yeah, she knows. He knows I'm here, but Marla wants to know, is there a disparity in income? Okay. And Robyn says, yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I have businesses. Okay. a hat line, okay? And I got a podcast on the iHeart, okay? She's doing the big things indeed, okay? And so she wants a clause also about infidelity. Marla asks, is there a history here of infidelity? And Robyn is like, yes, there is a past history of infidelity. Marla tells her that it's a lot better to do the work in advance, okay? I would agree. It is probably a lot easier to do the work in advance if you're going to get a prenup. That conversation was loaded. More on that, I'm assuming, to come. Karen is out flower picking or something. Okay. They picking blackberries or tulips or turnip greens, cabbage, potatoes, greens, beans, apple pies. I don't know what they're doing. They just it's something in the ground. Ashley relays. Ashley is telling everybody that will listen, Michael got a vasectomy. He got a vasectomy. And I'm like, girl, like, you ain't got to tell everybody you run into. Like, for real. Like, the man ain't even on the show. I'd have heard more about this man's vasectomy than I'd seen of Michael all season. So anyway, Wendy arrives and, she's seen the news, and Ashley doesn't know who leaked the news, but, she's not quite ready to talk about it yet, okay? Karen was disappointed she didn't see Wendy's kids at the family fun day. Wendy says she didn't like that. Karen advises that they need to put the emotion to the side, her and Robyn. Wendy needs Robyn to meet her halfway, and they should come together to work through their issues. So she receives that she can be condescending herself, Wendy does. And we get a flashback, a very important flashback of a scene that we should see, okay? Production, please show us the scene in its entirety because several things happen here. In the flashback, it's Mia, Ashley, Wendy, Jacqueline, and Wendy. And we get the flashback of Mia and Ashley telling Wendy about the ways in which she comes across as condescending. So in real time, Wendy wants to send a message to the group in general about having a get-together. And Ashley thinks, well, maybe you should send specific messages to Giselle and Robyn to smooth things over first. And Wendy is like, I ain't going to do that, okay? I ain't going to do that. I'm not going to give them that much, okay? Because they ain't invite my kids, okay, to the family fun day. Meanwhile, it's wine and dine time at the Bassett household. Candiace, we learned, is doing a re-release of her album Deep Space, and for the new single, Trina is going to be featured in the video and on the song, which I think is dope. I have not heard this song. Let me know if you guys have heard it. Is it out yet? I did. I think I downloaded her album Deep Space because I thought to myself, well, why not support? Because she's on a platform. She's a Black woman doing a thing. I'm a support. I don't always like everything she says or does, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to support because that's just what I feel like we should do as a community. You know what I'm saying? When our people do something good. So anyway, Candiace reveals that Wendy invited them all to a burn session so that they can all speak uninterrupted. She does realize that this is going to be a hot, juicy mess. And then she reveals that Ashley was there at the house to her sister. At that point, Chris leaves, okay? He exits. And Candiace reveals that she doesn't want to have beef with anyone, especially Ashley. Wow, this was foreshadowed, okay? So we learn on the way to the winery as Wendy and Ashley are on the way, we learned that Wendy has kidney stones and that she's uber stressed. So this girl has told us that she is, her hair is thinning. She's got the kidney stones. It might be time to sit down, Wendy, and just do a little bit of nothing with maybe an Onyi home essential candle and a good book, okay? Because it sounds like all of these things are just contributing to your amount of stress, okay? So anyway, Wendy ended up getting Mia, Candiace, Giselle, Karen, and Robyn a Sprinter. Apparently, nobody responded to the invite. Wendy's goal was to have them resolve their issues while they're at the table at the winery instead of in the ride over. So that's why she got the other girls a sprinter. Wendy realizes that, you know, life is too short because her mom has just went to the hospital and it's caused her to think differently about life. All right. So Wendy and Ashley arrive at the Bluemont Vineyard, and poor Giselle trips getting off the bus when she gets there. All right. Candiace is having flashback of the last time that she was at a winery. Okay. And she knows that disaster is afoot. Maybe this group should stay away from wineries. Okay. So, we get they sit down and Giselle goes right in about the memes about Ashley's separation on the internet. So everybody is there at this point. And, you know, Ashley says that she loves the support from the people, but she just doesn't like that it's at Michael's expense. And he's not been communicative with her anymore. And Giselle says she can relate because it's not nice to know that everyone thinks that your spouse is a creep. I had to chuckle at that one. I really did because she said it. I did not say that. She said it, not me. Miss D Green says, I'm actually here for anything Candiace may give this season because they are asking for it. Now, Wendy, condescending? I think not. Wendy is just educated, so her reads may sting a little more. Thank you, Miss D Green. Okay. Side note, did y'all see Jamal Bryant going off on that Herschel Walker? I said, oh, yes, I was here for that. Meanwhile, Mia wants to know exactly what did we sign up for, Wendy. So Wendy has a notebook for everybody, okay? And whoever is in the hot seat, okay, everybody else writes down what they need to say about that person or to that person. And then that person can rip it up and burn it. And the goal is for the person in the hot seat to take ownership, okay, of what was perceived. So Giselle says that in her confessional that she's never known Wendy to be accountable for anything, but Wendy is going first. And she adds that she doesn't want this to be a pile-on, so you can speak positivity to that person or thank them for something that they've done if you don't have anything negative to say. So Ashley starts. She feels like Wendy had a barrier up and she wants Wendy to be more open, and she felt like she got some of that on their ride up together. So Candiace says that she recognizes Wendy's wall because she has a wall and she feels that maybe is trusting some. And then she says to anybody else, F them bees and get money. Okay. JMW says Wendy shouldn't have went first. I mean, listen, why not start it off? Okay. Why not start it off? So thank you for the super chat, JMW. All right. So then Karen admits that they started off on the wrong foot, but she loves how much progress they've made. Mia says, well, mine is one you might want to burn. Okay. She says that Wendy is dismissive, but she's proud of Wendy for hosting this event today and taking accountability. So Wendy, you know, gets to burn that piece of paper. So she asks Robyn to go next. Oh, Robyn. So Robyn just says, we're oil and water and I'm fine with it. And then hands her the piece of paper. Okay. Wendy's like, okay. Wendy says, Giselle, it's your turn. Giselle says, ditto what Mia said, that you're dismissive, and ditto with Robyn. And then she says, you went on a whole I hate Giselle train and then tried to be fake and phony and hug me. And so I'm good on you. I'm good on you. Good. Okay. Wendy says, okay. So Ashley says, Wendy, did you hear that? Did you receive it? And Wendy says, you know, Robyn, I'm going to go with you first. And she says, I own my part in making you feel a certain type of way. So then Candiace interjects and says, but Robyn hasn't really been specific about, you know, how she feels though. Giselle says, don't nobody got time to write a soliloquy or a sermon. Just speak on it, okay? So Candiace is like, well, Robyn needs to tell Wendy what the problem is. So Robyn says, please don't try to tell anyone that I tried to fight you, okay? Because that's not who I am, okay? That is not who I is. And I said, oh, it's not? Now, I ain't gonna pull up the receipt from the umbrella, Ella, A. I'm not gonna pull up the receipt from, this is me putting my finger in your face. I'm not gonna pull that receipt up. No, not me, not at all, okay? But in the flashback, that from that conversation with Wendy, Ashley, Mia, and Jacqueline, okay, Ashley says to her, all right, did you say that Robyn tried to fight you? And Wendy said, yeah, she basically jumped up and had to be physically restrained. In this moment, I said, please, producers, give us a flashback, because I honestly couldn't remember. But I did think I remember CHARISSE putting her hand on Robyn to keep her from moving forward, right? So Robyn is like, you need to be careful with your words, okay? Because that is dangerous. Wendy says it's dangerous for you to have to be held back. So Robyn says, nobody had to hold me back. Wendy says, maybe you were so drunk you don't remember. Wendy just wants to move on at this point, and Robyn should have let her. But no, Robyn was on one today, and she thought she was ready for Wendy. Oh, no. No. Okay. Ashley is trying her best to help her girls. Okay. She's trying to dispel that Robyn was, trying to be aggressive or whatever. And, Robyn is irate and claiming it's a lie. Nobody had to touch me. I'm not a thug. I'm not a thug. I'm not a thug. I'm not a thug. Oh, wait. I was like, girl, nobody said you was a thug. If you was a thug, you would have did what you had set out to do. But clearly, we know that you're not a thug, right? So anyway, Robyn then picks up the phone, and I'm calling CHARISSE. Okay, I'm calling CHARISSE. CHARISSE, did I put one finger? Did you have to put one finger on me to prevent me from touching Wendy? Okay. CHARISSE lies. Okay. And says no. And Wendy says, my truth is my truth, and your truth is your truth. And so the producer said,
do I need to bring the receipt? No.
And we get the flashback. Okay. We get the flashback. So maybe it is that CHARISSE did not put one finger on Robyn. Girl, she put 10 on you. Okay. She had to put 10 fingers on you to hold you back. Not only did she do this to you, but she also had to physically, 2 hand on the shoulder grip, put you back so that you could just move out, just not be standing in nobody's space. And now we got you caught red-handed in an MFing lie. Okay, a lie. It was a lie. You know what? You know what time it is. Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
Listen. Why? Oh, God. But, oh, no. You know what? Miss Robyn is 10 toes down in it. Giselle and Robyn actually are yelling about how horrible Wendy is, how much of a liar she is. And Wendy is calmly sitting there like, why are you yelling? Robyn is like screaming, I don't give an F. 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 Trying to, cause a scene or whatnot, thinking she swear for God she's in the right. I don't know what she thought she was doing. She had CHARISSE at the ready. Girl, answer the phone when I call you, because I'm going to prove to these hoes that, I'm right, okay? That's what she thought she was going to do. Not today. Not today. Not today, the producer said. Yes, they did.
Bring the receipt? Do I need to bring the receipt? No.
Producer said not today. All right. Brittany says Robyn needs some brain teasers because her memory. We had another super chat. Thank you for that super chat. Misty Green says, yes, Richie, share the receipts. Really, Robyn? Yo, this scene to me was wild AF, okay? So at that point, Wendy tells her, you need to control your emotions, okay? Control your emotions. So Robyn decides to leave because, you know, it's some phony BS up in here. I'm like, girl, the only phony BS today, okay, is you and CHARISSE. All right, that's it. Period. Period. At least that's from what the producers have shown us. I don't know. Maybe CHARISSE had been drinking too and she don't remember. Maybe that was the case. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know if CHARISSE was drinking. I thought she had some champagne, but maybe she did not. I don't know. JMW says, somebody call Carlos. I need a Robyn interview ASAP. She got some explaining to do because I'm still on Wendy's kids. Yo, this episode was funny. Okay, it was funny. So then Karen has to chastise Giselle for screaming as well. And I'm like, yes, Karen. I mean, thank you for like coming in and like saying the obvious, because Giselle was a screaming too. I don't even know what she was screaming for. I think she was just screaming to echo Robyn. Bruce says, I was sitting there waiting for her. I'm so glad Juan Dixon isn't here before she exited the screen. Well, don't worry. I got it for you.
Juan Dixon is not here right now. I am so glad that Juan Dixon is not here right now. I am so glad that Juan Dixon is not here right now.
Oh my God. I'm so glad he wasn't here either to witness all of this. And I hope he won't dare to see the lie. Meanwhile, Ashley is not done yet. Oh Lord, poor Ashley, girl. It's just like, let it go today. Not today. So Ashley wants to address something with Candiace. Her friend from the spring party, Deborah, that we met a few weeks ago, said Chris was being flirty with her. All right. When he came to the bar for a drink. Candiace is like, well, what is the purpose of this? Ashley's like, well, it came up later. And Candiace is like, you could have called me. I've come to you privately with stuff about Michael. And Ashley says, you want to call Michael a predator. And Candiace says, well, he is a predator. It's documented. Ashley says it's been proven not true in a court of law. Which trumps which? Okay. So then Candiace says, you don't have enough going on in your own life, so you want to bring drama to my door. Ashley says, well, Mia also said that he was looking at her at the spring party.
Do I need to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts? No.
Here we go with the producers coming on in through with the receipts again. Coming on through with the receipts again.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. The editors today, ain't no editor like a Potomac editor, because a Potomac editor don't stop. Okay. So then Mia says, well, I didn't say it was sexual, but he was still staring at me.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
Oh, God. Anyway, Candiace says he was not doing with these things. And at that point, what I thought was funny was that Ashley says this. She says, the pendulum always swings both ways. It doesn't feel good, does it? So it made you feel like this was something that maybe Ashley had been like ready for at some point, or like she took some sort of pleasure in it, which leads Candiace to say, there it is. This comes from a place of vindictiveness and calls her an evil bee. Okay. So then Ashley says, are you just going to turn a blind eye to this? And Candiace was like, you would know about turning a blind eye, wouldn't you? Ashley says, Chris actually has been in some other DMs that were not quite as innocuous as mine. And I'm thinking to myself, Ashley, what I need you to do is this.
I got receipts. Do you want me to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts. Do you need to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts. Do you want me to bring the receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because
I am so glad that Juan Dixon is not here right now.